Now, I've been saying this for a very long time, but Mazda is just nailing every single vehicle they have on sale right now. I love the Coda design language. Still, one of the most fluid designs out there for regular vehicles. They're pieces of art that we get to appreciate every day. And now they're coming back with the next generation Mazda RX7. And this is going to be an absolutely fantastic looking machine. Because looking at this design, it's a stunning design. This is exactly what I want to see in cars today. This emotional, fluid, organic design that I've been talking so much about that I feel is lacking in pretty much 90% of car companies today. It's getting a lot more static, a lot more boring product design style, but this one looks great. And I also love what Mazda is doing now, by the way, with the interiors. They still have analog clusters in a lot of interiors. Love to see that. And of course, the separation of the infotainment screen as well. So we're going to have a look at this beautiful machine. And this is what the next generation Miata is going to look like as well. Very similar to this, although of course going to be a roadster. Now, let's check out this article first of all, because there's a lot to talk about with this new RX7. It's built on the, let's see what the concept is called, iconic SP concept for 2023, which is this one right here, looking great in white and in red. So Mazda is bringing back the Rotary RX7 and building a new Miata as well. Great to hear it. The RX7 successor could arrive as early as next year if Mazda can justify the business case. And I think there is a massive demand for a vehicle like this, a small sports car that looks beautiful, that looks like it costs maybe $80,000 just based on the exterior design. And I think people want more of these vehicles on the roads and to be available for sale. So I do definitely think there is a strong business case to turn this into production. And it looks like they're going to do it. I'm going to show you what the CEO is saying later in this article. So Mazda is developing two sports cars. You have the rotary powered model with the range extender hybrid powertrain. And then you have the next MX-5 is still years out, but could feature Mazda's new Skyactiv Z engine. The production version of the iconic SP concept is going to be the new RX, which I'm not sure what they're going to call it. They don't know themselves, but it's going to be as I say here, a spiritual successor to the RX-7. Even better, it's expected to be sold alongside the next generation MX-5, although that one is still a few years out. Now, that came out in 2016 or 2015 even. So it's approaching a decade old for the Mazda Miata, the current one. But I still think it looks great. It's one of the best, if not the best, sports car on sale right now. For what you're paying, it's not quick at all, but it's one of these cars that the speed and power does not matter. I reviewed two of them, the RF and the regular Roadster, and I reviewed every single generation of the Miata, and I am blown away every time I get to jump into one of those. So the iconic SP concept might seem like a hardtop evolution of the future MX-5, but it's actually a bit larger than it looks. It's larger than the current ND generation by quite a lot, 10.4 inches longer. So it fits neatly in the space between Mazda's old and new sports car identities. And I cannot wait to see what this production version is going to look like. I think it's going to be one of the most beautiful cars of 2026 when it comes out. So Mazda's chief technical officer confirmed that many have been hoping for to hear. You can expect iconic SP to be a good successor to the RX-7. Very wide statement there. His comment echo earlier statements from Mazda president and CEO, who said that he'd love to see the rotary sports car make a return. So yes, the rotary dream isn't dead. I would love to see a rotary engine as well. So initial talk was that he could go into production as early as 2026, but timing is also dependent on viable business case, as we talked about earlier. And as I said, I think it's a clear case to put this into production. I think it's going to do very, very well if they do. On the technical side, things are moving faster, as he confirmed that the next generation of the brand's rotary engine is nearly ready right now in 2025. So when asked whether the new sports car might wear the RX-7 or RX-9 badge, he said they kept things ambiguous. He noted that the model isn't meant to directly succeed any existing nameplate, but you can look at the design and the styling of this. Definitely has some RX-7 designs cues from it. So though it could revive something from the past, he said, then look at this. Just check out this design. This interior looks great as well, even though it's very minimalistic. You have a steering wheel, a small little screen here. Would love to see some aircon buttons right underneath it. Not sure what this is. This is, of course, the concept interior, but I think it looks fantastic, and specifically in white. It just brings out all the lines, illuminated front logo there as well. You can see them here inside you. And the red one, I mean, the red one, yes, it looks fantastic as well. And you also have these eyelids that covers up the headlight. That is something that's probably not going to make it into production. And these doors, these butterfly doors, are probably also not going to make it into production. Unfortunately, it would be cool to see. But look at this line right here. Look at the fenders in the front end and how this Kodo design language, as I say, play with empty surfaces. Look at the reflection going on here into this very sharp line that goes above the front fender. What a stunning, beautiful little car this is. The rear end looks clean as well. I mean, everything about this car, you want to have it like this, exactly like this, on a turntable in your home, and just have it spin around for you so you can appreciate all the details about this beautiful looking design. So powertrain is said to produce a combined output of 365 horsepower, which is a lot more than I was expecting, since the Miata only has about, what is it, like 180 tops or something like that. So 365 horsepower in a package like this, it's gonna be a beast of a sports car. So it features a dual rotor rotary engine acting as a range extender paired with a single electric motor and a battery pack. The production model is expected to use a similar setup as this concept right here. The coupe's development sounds like a priority for the brand, which is fantastic news. So hopefully executives will soon be able to deliver on their promises. And I do really hope they do. As I said, we need more cars like this that are not just, consumer electronics on wheels. This is the soul of cars. Having small sports cars like this is what makes cars fun and affordable, specifically the Miata as well. So as for sales targets, the RX7 successor will be a low volume model. I definitely hope they don't make it a limited model. I want to see it mass produced, and I want to see it in every street corner if possible. So the current ND generation of the Miata has been on the road since 2014, not 2015. So it is over a decade old now, which makes it about 100 in car years. Now, naturally, people are wondering when the next version is coming. The answer, not just yet. And I think that is totally fine, because a look at this design, it's still a beautiful looking machine. It looks like a 2025 model year. They did refresh the front end a little bit with the LEDs to make it modern. New Roadster will keep the compact footprint, lightweight feel, and affordability right in line with what everybody expects the Miata to be. Visually, the next Miata is expected to borrow heavily from this concept that we're looking at, the iconic SP, which is also fantastic news because it looks great, just scaled down, of course, and with the roof down. The MX-5 will remain a two-seater roadster. More importantly, it will be fitted with a four-cylinder gas engine, and of course, you're going to have rear-wheel drive and the option for a manual transmission. So all is good in Mazda land. These are two cars that I think probably two of the cars that I look for the most to see in production form. The new MX-5 and then this SP iconic concept. So let's jump into Photoshop here, because I want to talk about this and I want to appreciate this. Give Mazda some credit where credit is due, because this to me is as I said, exactly what I wanted to see in sports cars today. Beautiful looking design. Look at this line. This is my favorite line of this vehicle. We have some very organic fluid surfaces. There's not a single sharp line in the side view. Although it has a muscle that you want to have in a sports car, you have a small little line right here, right above the rear axle, to give it a little bit of a plantedness. And look at how the roof line goes into this rear fender, just wrapping around it, creating a nice cozy house for the big wheel to sit within. Looking stunning. I don't think these side mirrors, 100%, they're not going to make it into production because they're way too small and you can barely see anything out of them. I don't even think they are cameras. Maybe they are. And here you can see the eyelids that we have in the front end for the headlights. And thankfully, these headlights are not bumper headlights. We have a cover right here, which is a very unique solution for the headlight unit. And the grille looks Absolutely fantastic as well, with the illuminated Mazda logo in the front end and this black lower lip in the lower section of the front, just hugging the road in front of you. And look again at the beautiful reflections that we have going on here with the Kodo design language, looking fantastic. Now I wanted to show you this as well, because here you can see how the eyelids are open. So you can open them out, you kind of flop up like this. You have a flap here that pops up. Very interesting. It's not really, is it? I guess you could call it like very thin pop-up headlights. Very, very interesting to see that. I don't think it's illegal to produce cars with pop-up headlights anymore because of crash regulations. I could be wrong there, but I have it in the back of my mind that I've read that somewhere. That is the reason why we don't have that anymore, which is pretty unfortunate, because pop-up headlights, I mean, who doesn't love pop-up headlights? I certainly do. Now look at the side view. I can't tell you which one of these is my favorite view for this vehicle, because it looks so stunning from every single angle that you look at it from. And here you can see this muscle. We have one key sharp line, and that's all. That's all we need for this vehicle, and that goes in the exact right space, right above the rear axle, to plant this car properly. We have a long hood, and we have the top of this curvature. Check this out. We have the top of this curvature right here. The top of this sits right above the center point of the front axle. And that is exactly what you want to have. If you're sketching cars, if you're learning how to sketch cars, keep that in mind. And another thing you can keep in mind is the top part of the greenhouse. This part right here should always be right above where you have the driver. The head of the driver should always be in that case. And if you want to learn how to sketch, my course, as you know, I'm sure by now, is only $49. Teaches you everything about design sketching with the basic tools, perspective sketching, marker sketching, a little bit of digital sketching as well. So go and check that out if you want to, down in the description, or go to analogdesignerpropack.com to check that out. And we also have a thin line, very, very thin line right here, to just carve out just a little bit of this section in the lower section, in addition to the black side skirt going in. And these looks to be carbon fiber wheels. I do like the design of them, but I'm not sure I want to have them be in black. This car with the red, I think, would look great with just silver wheels, or maybe even bronze wheels on this package. Now, looking at the rear end, this does not typically look like a Mazda to me, but that's totally fine, because it has this classic, almost 60s vibe when it comes to the overall proportions and the graphics. Look how simple everything is. Everything is super simplistic back here, and that is what I want to see, but you can still see that the proportions are on point. We have some interesting design for the taillight units here. Almost two circles that are morphed together. Very interesting solution for that. I don't think I've ever seen that before. And we don't even have an aggressive diffuser. Instead, we have the bodywork itself acting like a funnel for air. You can see it right here with these lines. How stunning is this? And then you have the airflow, of course, flowing underneath here into this diffuser in the lower section to create some suction in the rear end of this vehicle. And last but not least, we have to talk about this interior as well. To me, I don't really have anything really bad to say about this interior. I'm not a fan of the screen here, but this is very, very conceptual. Everything about this interior, nothing, probably 95% of what you see here are not going to make it into production. So I'm not really worried about this. I do really hope that they keep still. Mazda is one of the last brands to still have a proper interior with the gauge cluster inside of a beautiful housing and the separation of the screen as well. I really hope they keep that for not just this when this comes out, but also the refreshed CX-50 that's coming out pretty soon. I'm worried about the interior for that one, that they're going to mess it up and go in the route that everybody else is doing with two big screens on top of the dash like this, which totally ruins absolutely everything about an interior. So great news from Mazda, and I honestly cannot wait to see how much of this exterior design is actually going to make it into production. I certainly hope pretty much 99% of this design will make it, because it is one of the most beautiful new sports cars on the market today.